Hey guys, so I just got back from seeing The Girl on the Train, and I want to start this review with a little disclaimer. So I tried to be as open-minded as possible going into this movie, so I didn't read any reviews, I didn't look at the rating on Metascore or IMDb or whatever, but then when I went to buy my ticket online, it showed the Rotten Tomatoes rating right off to the side, and I didn't even look at the percentage, but I just saw a little splat that means rotten. So I might have gone into this a little biased, but I honestly don't think it affected my judgment too much. Anyway, on to the movie. So, The Girl on the Train is a thriller about an alcoholic woman who becomes obsessed with this perfect couple that she sees from the window of a train every day. The woman in this couple ends up going missing, and the protagonist is then entangled in the circumstances of the woman's disappearance. It was directed by Tate Taylor, who previously directed The Help, and it stars Emily Blunt, Haley Bennett, and Rebecca Ferguson. It's actually based on a book by Paula Hawkins, which I read about a year and a half ago. I was trying to fill the Gone Girl-shaped hole in my heart. It didn't work. I wasn't as impressed by the book, but I had high hopes that it could be made into a good movie, which didn't quite live up to my expectations, honestly. I think my main problem with the movie was the editing. It shifts between the perspectives of the three main women constantly, and it also shifts between times, which is a really interesting concept, and it's not something you see too often in movies, at least not to the extent that they did it in The Girl on the Train, but I found it kind of disjointed, and it took me out of the action of the story, so they'd go so deeply into the personal life of one of the women that I'd kind of forget what the conflict was. As a result, it wasn't super suspenseful, which I was kind of hoping for. It wasn't really suspenseful to me at all through the first half, and then it started to get it right at the beginning of the second half, but that kind of petered out, and then the ending wasn't as satisfying. One thing I did like about the editing was when they were showing the protagonist when she was drunk. The editing was kind of jarring and a little out of focus is the best way I can describe it, which I feel like was a really good way of portraying the woman's state of mind. As for the acting, Emily Blunt was amazing. Emily Blunt is always amazing. Nobody's surprised that Emily Blunt was amazing. Rebecca Ferguson was good. Haley Bennett, I had a little bit of trouble with her and her character at the beginning because I thought that she kind of didn't express emotion. Her lines seemed kind of monotone to me, but I think that was just an acting choice, and she started to emote more as the movie went on, so I became okay with her. The male leads were Justin Theroux, Luke Evans, and Edgar Ramirez, and they all did a good job. To me, they kind of seemed like they were more just there for the women to act off of, with one large exception that is a spoiler, so I'm not going to say what it is, but they all did a good job as well. The movie also features Laura Prepon from Orange is the New Black and Allison Janney in smaller roles, and they were really good in those roles. One of my favorite aspects of a film is usually the score, and it was the same with this movie. So the score was done by Danny Elfman of Spider-Man and Batman fame, but for me it was really reminiscent of the Gone Girl score, which was done by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. So it was really creepy, and it was pretty minimalist, and it was just a really good score. It fit the tone of the movie well. So ultimately, it wasn't a terrible movie, but it wasn't great either. If you're looking for a really suspenseful, scary movie, I would not watch this one. I think there are better ones. For me, it was more of an investigation of like the personal lives of the female characters, which was interesting. It just wasn't what I was looking for. So go see it or don't go see it. The choice is yours, and I will see you next time.